Hello, it's Marklin here with your video thought for the day. You say, what are you doing banging on the door? Well, this week I thought we'd look at biblical passages that are themed around the idea of a home. And the passage for today comes from the New Testament book, Revelation. That's that book with visions and a lot of things that are somewhat bizarre, but it starts out with letters to 7 churches in Asia. And in chapter 3, verse 20, Jesus makes the following comment. He says, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. And if anybody will open up the door and invite me in, I will come in and sup with them." Now, historically, in a lot of our churches and in a lot of our thinking, this passage has referenced the idea of people accepting Christ, of people saying, "Jesus, I want you to be Lord of my life. I want to be a Christian." And I think that's a legitimate way to understand that Jesus stands at the door of everyone's heart, knocking, and if people say, "Lord, I want to follow you," he's right there. But that's not the way this passage is originally set up in Scripture. Because this passage is written to a church of people who already follow Jesus. The problem is they're lukewarm. They're neither hot nor cold. And so you've got people who have a problem. And the problem is they're religious enough to not enjoy the world, but they're worldly enough to not enjoy the expression of their faith. They're straddling the fence. They're, Jesus says, lukewarm, not hot and not cold, and not really suitable for anything other than just spitting out of your mouth. And so it's within that group of people that Jesus says, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock." Because every minute of every day when we're making choices, we have a choice. We can make that choice in a way that invites Jesus into our choice so that we take into account his lordship. And we make choices based with good motivations. We make choices out of love. We make choices out of compassion and kindness. We make choices that are moral and right. Or we can choose to make our own choices and leave Jesus out on the other side of the door knocking. And that's when we make those choices out of selfishness, out of anger, out of bitterness, out of hurt feelings, out of all of the things that are counterproductive to walking in the light of Jesus. So today, I want to think about Jesus standing at the door and knocking in terms of my life. Am I going to let him in? Am I going to dine with him when I eat, when I work? Are the choices that I make today going to be choices where Jesus is involved with me in the choice? I want it to be, because that is my video thought for the day. Come back to the house tomorrow and we'll look at another house passage in the Bible.